Move round into this low ground, because they're coming round. Fuck.
Second Lieutenant Bertie Carr walks right into the teeth of battle. Under heavy enemy fire, his troop takes its first casualty.
Gun team, extract back to the low ground towards the shrine, over. Yeah, roger.
And back in England, 924 recruit troop, on the verge of being deployed to Afghanistan themselves, start their final exercises, the most realistic they will face before war itself.
Having the firefights, and you looked at your watch, and 2.5 hours had gone, and it felt like 10 minutes.
Space it out.
Bertie Carr and his men of 11 Troop are on the eve of a major company attack on a Taliban stronghold.
8-man sections and a 4-man gun team.
Tomorrow morning at dawn, 11 Troop will be point troop, first into the attack.
Lads, it's a hoofing task we've been given. We're point troop. We're point troop in a company group assault on this fucking feature which we've been receiving incoming from for the past 2 weeks. So we look at...
Bertie Carr is only 3.5 weeks out of training, but he now has to lead his men, mostly rookies themselves, to assault an enemy position. A hill codenamed the Shrine.
Again, it's very imperative that you remain quiet and don't shine any lights, whatever, because we're completely exposed to the shrine and the cave complex. If they hit us here, we're pretty much fucked. I suggest we be there.
For all of them, it will be their first offensive action against the enemy in Afghanistan.
Step off at 0445.
Just a last note. Guys, this is a fucking good op we've got for tomorrow. We've got the meatiest part of it. I don't want to see any fucking unprofessional attitudes, anything on the ground whatsoever, okay? Professional Marines will do the job properly. Big punch!
At the Commando training base at Lympston, only 11 recruits of the original 50 are still with 924 Troop. They are now practicing for the final Commando tests that they must pass to win their Green Beret.
Keep fast!
All the way up! Keep going, keep driving.
Win stuff!
Speaking to my dad on the phone, he said, I wonder just how fit you are now. And you know, you don't notice it because you're with all the lads around you and you're all doing the same stuff. So you think that everyone's that fit. What are they turning you into? Turning you into machines, aren't they? But you don't notice it because everyone around you is turning into a machine as well. But if you went back on Civvy Street, you'd be like Superman.
Yeah.
Good effort, you two. Straight in the next tunnel and away you go. Good effort.
Commandos have to attain what's called battle fitness, a physical and mental strength that equips them to operate in extreme conditions and often with injury. 94 Troop are doing the gruelling 12-mile yomp, carrying 80 pounds. And this is just a taster of the Commando tests to come.
It's all up there. 12-miler, you just get through it. I was in a bad way on a 12-mile, really dehydrated, fell down a pothole, was hallucinating, but they installed that mental thing in you now that it doesn't matter. It does matter, you have to be physically fit, but it's a mental game as well.
State of mind, isn't it?
State of mind, yeah, that's what they teach you here, and they can only teach you that here.
Before dawn, and in sub-zero temperatures, Bertie Carr's troop starts to climb the steep slopes of the enemy stronghold, codenamed the Shrine.
Yeah, Jacko, move up to the base of the hill. Over.
Not only are the Marines carrying up to 100 pounds per man, but they're doing so at altitude with much reduced oxygen.
Back.
11 Troop advance silently,
Fucking exposed.
communicating only through their personal headsets.
All call signs, stay low, over.
We've got eyes on some possible
Observation posts on surrounding mountains using heat-sensitive telescopes have confirmed that enemy are present on the shrine.
Lads, when you're firm, go low. There's enemy out that way. Call Jackson, move up into green 1 and get into ground.
As the sun comes up over the mountains, just after 5 in the morning, Bertie's troop reaches their first objective, green 1, with no opposition.
This is 20 Alpha, making the break in the first compound now.
The enemy have withdrawn, but to where? No longer under the cover of darkness, the Marines advance to the top of the hill as they must try to command the high ground.
Just be aware we are on the high ground to your left, over.
0 Alpha, over.
Sully, you're completely skylining yourself there. Can you not get into a better position, over?
Over, Joe.
Hello, Steel 0 Alpha, this is Steel 20 Alpha. Can I push my section onto the shrine, over?
Move now.
On me!
So far so good, but with no cover on top of the hill, this is a very dangerous place to be.
Where is he? Right, get down into cover. Get down into cover.
The Taliban, waiting after all, have opened up with a hail of fire.
Right down, good.
We can tell the bullets are coming in close to our heads because of the ominous whistling sound they're making. The Marines call them lead wasps.
Right, move round because they're moving round to that low ground.
My location.
Lads, can you move round into this low ground because they're coming round? Move round, quickly get down low. Just get down to that low ground.
We're under heavy attack. Taliban are fighting back hard. We're pinned down now. On the ridge, it's on the shrine. We don't know what the strength of the enemy is. They've got us well pinned down. Got tracer, consolidated fire, plus machine gun as well.
Low ground down there. Right, we haven't secured the shrine yet, so we need to get away from there.
Chris, go. Run. Good effort.
The incoming fire is so intense that Bertie gives the order to withdraw and regroup.
Friendlies! Right, lads, moving in. Friendlies moving in.
Have you got eyes on the enemy?
Neggers, yeah, we've got our heads firmly down here as there's some quite accurate fire. Cheers. Fire coming from? Over that way. That way. Right. I'll tell you what, that was fucking hoofing, whoever that is. That was a proper smash. Not being funny, lads, but we don't want to keep too many people in this all at once.
The essential thing is to launch a counter-attack as soon as possible, especially as the enemy have now given their position away.
Have withdrawal up here.
So to do that, Bertie leads his men around the hill to attack from a different direction. Oh, now, as never before, I realised the necessity of being completely fit, both in mind and body.
We're going to carry on with the advance. We're not going to get bogged down responding to every round shot at us up here. Out.
2-6, close up!
On Dartmoor, 924 Troop continue with the concluding exercise of their training called Final Thrust. Themselves just one step now from Afghanistan.
Makes all the yomping worth it. Go through 20 hours of fucking sheer hell just to get here. But yeah, it's worth it.
You enjoy this?
I love this bit. I love this bit. Proper adrenaline rush. Doesn't matter how fucked you are, nothing to eat, no sleep. Muster the energy from somewhere and have a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, he's bleeding heavily from the leg. Okay, he's got a gunshot wound to the leg. Bleeding heavily. He's going out of consciousness. What do you do? Start reassuring him. He's a casualty, yeah? He's just been fucking shot.
Yeah, no, a bit poorly.
But this is, we're doing more interesting stuff now.
It's proper soldiering.
Didn't realise how hard proper soldiering was. Commando level soldiering. How
switched on you got to be.
You have got an hour from when he gets shot to get him to hospital.
Just have it constantly ticking over in your brain all the time. They know it. You know,
It's a way of thinking, isn't it?
it is a way of thinking. You know, it probably takes not just training but general duties and a bit of experience to get that.
Okay, get someone else from 2 section. You're going to need to start thinking about evacuating him now, aren't you?
Cheers, Chris. Five
is carrying. Taking effort right, he needs protection, doesn't he? Come on, in front of him, you ready? Get down!
Keep doing this.
700 metres!
On top of the shrine, 11 Troop establish a firing line from which they take the fight back to the enemy.
Tracer! Give him indication. Up on the right! What?
11 Troop has consolidated on the high ground above Green 1. We have good arcs onto the enemy positions, over.
Once Bertie's men have suppressed enemy fire, they will make a move to Green 2, the objective from which they will launch yet another attack.
Right, so they've got that enemy pinned down between them.
Down below on the plain, the armed Land Rovers provide 11 Troop with extra cover and try to pin down the Taliban in one place.
Apex, boss! We've got Apex moving away from our position.
There's 8 enemy sighted, moving away from our position now. They're firing again.
The move is back behind us down to the low ground and then across to Green 2. Not yet. When the boss says the word, we're going to move on to Green 2 as planned. Right?
This is the sort of enemy you're dealing with. Ferocious, courageous,
in the re-entrant just behind you.
To our rear 2 section, we've got friendlies.
and tactically aware. Okay, here we go.
Don't want to move, Chris. Yeah, I'm moving. Go. Yeah, come on, just go along.
It's time to change the point of attack. The Marines, like the Taliban, need to keep moving to stay one step ahead of the enemy.
Right, lads, staying in the low ground. Staying in the low ground, we're going to push on to Green 2.
Last mile of 2 seconds.
The enemy could be hiding anywhere in the ruined compounds, so the order is given to fix bayonets.
Jackson, in your section, those you can, yeah?
Roger.
Sit rep is, we've been attacked from the west. We had sit reps on enemy out to the west the whole time.
Green 2, eyes on Green 2. Out. Wouldn't have been told that last.
We've really pissed them off now, haven't we?
On top of the cave.
Right lads, keep eyes on to the south. Kajaki, that's where all the fighting was yesterday. So as soon as they wake up.
11 Troop make it to their second objective, Green 2, a well-known Taliban firing position. It's deserted.
Yeah, hold on.
The enemy have melted into the
This
landscape.
is still 2-0 Alpha. Green 2 clear, over.
Caesar Alpha, we've got eyes on some packs, possible Taliban forces at roughly Green.
Bertie heads over the brow of the hill to join a forward firing line who've spotted enemy fighters. It's now estimated that there are about 100 Taliban spread around the shrine. 11 Troop comprise just 20 Marines. As we crawl forward to join Bertie, the enemy open fire again, and their AK-47s have found a new accuracy.
Right, get down here. Backwards. Chris, crawl backwards.
We are pinned down as the incoming bullets kick up the rock and the sand all around us. The forward firing line, exposed and outnumbered, is doing its best to provide cover as half their section make a break for dead ground.
Stand by the move, Chris. Last man! Good, go!
Got any casualties?
Last one! Yeah, get in there, get in.
Looks like they got manned out, like. We just over that hill there.
Let me show we got a man down.
The news spreads that a Marine has been shot. No one is clear as to who it might be, but I've noticed that my own radio link to Bertie Carr has gone dead.
Mate, the boss is still up there.
Good job.
Go with the Jan on your belt buckles just so you get comm to the boss. What the fuck was that?
Joel, where's it coming up?
Cabs! On me! Be aware, right over the top. Left boss, there's no cover over there at all.
Are you anywhere near our troop boss? Over.
Tell Delta team to push in their ground. Okay, 3 section are moving up, lads.
Smoke.
Distant artillery fire mortars over the Marines' heads to establish a wall of smoke to cover the gun team withdrawal.
Right, lads, let's get a fucking move on. Casualty! Base! Incoming! Right, medic! Medic!
The troop sergeant runs in with a wounded Marine, Richard Mason. A single shot has shattered his wrist.
Down here! Right, fucking hell. Let's go. Right, lads, calm. Who's got the medic pulse?
He will now need to be evacuated to a hospital as soon as possible before he loses too much blood. This is called the golden hour, the most critical time when most battlefield casualties could die. And then I hear the crackle of my radio link to Bertie Carr as he comes back into range.
Right, this is she's off. We're moving back down to the shrine. This 11.
Boss, down here!
Right. Yes, sir. We got the gun team in. Right there. They're withdrawing back to here as well. There's a casualty in. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I saw it. I thought it'd been hit in the chest. Fucking grim. I ran over. Just over there. No, they're from fucking China around to Kalawak now, on the other side of the wadi. So our extraction across the wadi is going to be fucking interesting.
Hey, gun team's coming in, lads!
So, Major, is that the gun team okay?
Yeah,
Gun team okay, yeah? Straight down that way, down that way.
Some enemy have fled and the rest are taking cover from the continuous barrage that had been unleashed by 11 Troop and is now being continued by 10 Troop down on the plain. An Apache attack helicopter has been called in.
Yeah. Just the warning.
Now, I need the final point for the mortars. I'm engaging with mortars. Hold over. Obviously, they fired their RPG, and we're moving across over that with them. Heading west, roughly 8 packs, all tools up, over. Go for it, mate.
11 Troop remains in cover whilst the helicopters attack.
Yeah, good. I think they're having a good time. They've all managed to get some rounds down, and it was good suppressive fire that they gave to extract off that flank there, off the top of the feature. That was a pretty hairy situation, but it was a good effort.
So what's next?
Going to cross back across the wadi and assault Kalawak, which is a known sort of enemy town.
They were smoking out the withdrawal of the casualty, mate.
And we're point troop because we know the route. Should be a good little expedition.
Team 2, close up! Williams, get in here!
Back at Lympstone, the recruits of 924 Troop continue their final exercise, practicing exactly the room clearance drills they will have to execute in Afghanistan in just a matter of weeks.
On me! All of you! Get in here! Hold on! Come on!
Nice and aggressive drills from all the lads, grenading each room and tripping up all the trip flares. So majority of the troop, yeah, they've proved themselves really well actually in the attack, and as a whole through the exercise proved themselves through some horrendous weather, through sleet, rain, snow, gusty winds up to sort of 80, 90 miles an hour in the middle of Tours and Dartmoor, and then still being able to fight at the end of it, which is what it's all about. And if they can do that here in the UK, then you can pretty much do it anywhere in the world. And it could be in theatre in Afghanistan, so that's the last attack they'll ever do. The next time it will be live in a war zone for real. So yeah, this is basically their test exercise to show that they can go on to operations.
There's a little saying you keep saying in your head, I'm up, I'm moving, he's seen me, down. 3 seconds is that it takes to say it in your head. 3 to 5, stay alive. If you're going any further than 5 metres, you're going to become a casualty, guaranteed. All right?
So there's a doorway, dash straight through and clear it.
Bertie and his troop arrive at the deserted town of Kalawak, one of the main firing positions the Taliban used in this morning's action. Bertie must now move through its scattered compounds to search them and clear them.
Good luck, lads.
Roger.
And it's still morning, it's only 11:15. Jesus. Nice day for it anyway.
The compounds are surrounded by thick mud walls, and sometimes the only way through them is to blast a hole with dynamite.
Bar mine, lads, heads down. Briefing.
Good, start clearing it over.
Call signs, this is still 20 Alpha. Be aware, we are blowing a bar mine to break into a compound to the north of our LOE. Over. Jeez.
Assault team 2.
Where's this mine? Mines kit, batteries and bits of clocks. Right, just don't touch any of that shit.
Cape Vinders, next door on the left, go!
11 Troop move through Kalawak methodically. The enemy seems to have fled, leaving behind bomb-making equipment, Russian ordnance and some ancient weaponry.
It's mortar tubes, same as our green.
When there are no bar mines to get through walls, the largest Marine in the troop, Tom Curry, known to everyone as Vinders, does the job just as well.
Magic, mate. Right, straight left, yeah? Straight left as soon as it's done. Get left for Vinders. Out we go, left corners. Move. 2 right. Go tap. Big man.
Lads.
Get low. You have to get your feet wet, get your feet wet. It's better than getting shot. Out.
Maybe up to 20 Taliban have been killed today. It's impossible to know exactly as fellow fighters whisk away bodies almost immediately. By early evening, Bertie, after his first direct action, counts his men into a temporary shelter for a ration break. Just another day in the life of Bertie Carr?
I don't know about that. That was a pretty special day for me. Yeah, it was good.
What will your family think about this, Bertie? Are you going to tell them?
No, not going to tell them until I get back, I think. It saves them just worrying. Because if you tell them that you've done something like that, they'll think it happens every day. And it doesn't. It's not every day something like that happens. It was quite hairy up on the top. Paul Marine Mason got shot in the arm. But with the good drills that the lads did, return fire, suppressed the enemy. No one else was hurt, which it's part miracle, but part mainly just good drills on their part. And it was great to have a troop which reacts like that to enemy fire. And a good day for the Royal Marines, yeah, definitely.